Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This is a very special episode of the Weekly Pint, and we'll explain why in a minute. But if you're new here, we got to explain things. This is not a show, which is why it never starts on time and why it's always chaotic. And this is going to be a little chaotic. Number one, I scarfed down like a little frozen pizza like right before we started recording because I had to cut the grass and all kinds of stuff this tonight, and so like I have this pizza now like just sitting right here, and I kind of want to just go to bed. So that's where I'm at, but we're not going to do that. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have a drink together, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. The point of this is to have a drink together. It's like a happy hour. It's an excuse for us to hang out and just to sit and drink together. So because of that, I need you to tell me what it is that you're drinking, and you're gonna help me figure out what I'm drinking in just a minute. But we're kicking things off. Josh is finishing up a truth, and then he's about to open up a tippa from I assume from West Side. That is the Tippa headquarters, I guess. Julia says, evening, enjoying a Tippa tonight. Marco's having psychopathy. It's an IPA night, and I am not going to do an IPA. In fact, I'm not even going to have a beer. I mean, I've had a beer, but I'm not having a beer right now. It's a booze night. We're going to make a cocktail together. And if you haven't been watching the last few episodes, the last, I don't know, month and a half or so, this may be a surprise to you, but you guys are going to help me make a cocktail. I have a bunch of ingredients all strewn across my desk here in some kind of organized fashion, sort of. Not really. There's stuff everywhere. There's old beer cans from I think last week over there. I think I got everything I need to make a cocktail, but we're gonna figure it out. The way that I do this, I don't know if you can hear all of the glasses and the bottles here. Every time I hit the table, they all jingle and jangle. I'm using a fairly tried and true formula for creating a cocktail, and that's 3 parts spirit, 2 parts sour, and 1 part sweet. It usually comes out pretty well, but in true Weekly Pint fashion, I'm gonna throw some pretty weird twists into some of this. There are a couple ingredients here that I don't know how well they're gonna go in a cocktail. I don't know how they're gonna go with anything. So if you guys choose those, God help us all. I have 3 different spirits. I have 3 different sweet components, and then I only have 2 different sour components because we are extremely lacking in our citrus category in the house right now. So I have lemon or lime. That's our choices. And you don't get to pick that way. You guys get to choose a number. All right, we'll put my empty glass right here. This is a really sweet. You don't know if you can see that. This is Braxton, OKI, Molly Wellman, none of which are sponsoring or in any way condoning what I'm about to consume. They did give me this glass for free though, so thank you guys. That's cool. Let's do this. I have a whole bunch of cards here. I prepared ahead of time, in theory. All right, we'll start with the sour component because, oops, you guys, you can probably tell which is which now. We have 2, 1 or 2. 1 is obviously lemon, 1 is lime. The first person that comments with a number is how we're going to do this. So for the sour component, I need a number 1 or a number 2. And then we'll figure out what it is. A bunch of them like at the same second too. Lime. We have number 2 is lime. All right. Throw those there. All right, we have our sour component. Goodbye, lemon. We'll put you over there just in case we get thirsty later. All right, we got our lime. Next up, should we go spirit or sweet next? Okay, spirit. Good call. We have. I just chose one. All right, 1, 2, or 3. We have 3 different spirits, and then after you guys choose one, I will tell you what we did not pick. 1, 2, or 3 with the spirits. First one is the winner here. 3 from Marco. 3. Oh, tequila. So, and the tequila is, I went not amazing tequila. I'll show you here in a second. Your other choices were rye or rum. All right, we'll toss those, but we have our tequila. Now we got cards everywhere. All right, tequila. So the rum that was going to be an option is Kill Devil rum. This is from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. This is a pecan, I believe. Pecan honey rum. This stuff is so delicious. It's so good, but I've never made a cocktail with it. It might be pretty good. All right, we'll put that down there. The rye is just pretty straightforward. It's a go-to in my house, Rittenhouse rye. I've been trying to kill this bottle, so I was going to do that, but nope. You guys didn't choose it. We'll put that there. What you did choose. Oh, the top shelf, the finest of all the tequilas. Jose. This stuff is so, it's fine. It's fine. It does have actual blue agave in it. I don't know how much, and probably not very much. It tells me how to make a perfect margarita on there. It says that I should mix 1 part of this, 3 parts of Jose Cuervo margarita mix, and put it over ice or whipped in a blender. That's a perfect margarita, according to them. Awesome. We're gonna do that with lime. We're right on track here. This is so far shaping up okay. However, our last ingredient could make us something great or could be terrible. This is our sweet component. Actually, I think this is going to be good no matter what. I think I can get behind all of these. All right, 1, 2, or 3. Our sweet component. First choice. Don't let me down, guys. 3. Okay, it's sugar. In fact, it is very old sugar cubes. I don't know how long these have been sitting behind the bar. I assume they're still fine. It probably won't kill me. And if it does, it'll be a fun story. We could have done number 2 is triple sec, which would have been great. We could have made a little margarita. We will put the triple sec aside. Or the one that I was a little bit curious about, number 1, banana. We have some banana liqueur. Whatever. This is actually sugary banana stuff. I feel like this would have been good too. I don't know. But yeah, sugar, lime, tequila, that's going to be fine. It's actually a little bit disappointing. I was hoping for the banana, I'm going to be honest. What the hell? We're doing banana. I'm calling it an audible. Gonna make a Bananarita, whatever this is. We could add a little bit of sugar in there, but I don't think we need it. All right, we need a knife to cut this lime here. All right, we'll juice it into this. Oh, here's a little knife. I mean, it's my show that isn't a show, so if I want to do banana, I can just do banana, right? There's no rules. I actually don't know how old this lime is either. I don't know how much juice we're going to get out of it. It's fine. Josh says that he's kind of into the idea of a Bananarita. Me too. That's why we're going to do it. I feel like it's going to need a little bit of doctoring up once we get it mixed. I don't think this is going to be enough. Yeah, this is like a brick. Hopefully we can get a couple ounces out of this. Might have to supplement with some lemon, guys. All right. Oh, now there's lime juice all over everything. When am I going to learn? All right, shaker. Normally I would start with the sweet just to make the math a little less complicated. It's not that complicated. We're gonna do an ounce of lime because I think that's about all we have. Yep, right on the money. Ounce of lime, which means we will then go a half an ounce of our banana. It's all crusted shut. I don't even know how old this is. I don't know how old. It's got definitely has some dust on it. Oh, there's ingredients on here too, or recipes. You can make the funky monkey. They tell you to do 1 part of the creme de banana, 1 part of light rum, a half a part of coconut rum, and 3 parts of pineapple juice. That sounds fine. All right, half an ounce of this, which is probably gonna. Oops, that's a little too much. That's fine. Everything is gonna be covered in sugar. All right, we'll get this out of the way. Now our delicious headache-inducing tequila, if you can even call this tequila. We need 1.5 ounces of this. There's 1 ounce, and there's a half. More than enough. Put that there. All right. Yeah, I'm actually not feeling bad about this. All right, ice. Put some ice in our glass. Put some ice in our shaker. Okay. Wish me luck here, guys. Gotta have your shake smile. All right. Place where you can see it, I guess. We've even got a muddler out here in case we had to use sugar cubes. All right. Let's see. It looks drinkable. I'm not going to garnish it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to drink this thing. Julia says the shake smile is what makes it a true cocktail. It's what makes it professional. All right. The Bananarita, created by all of us. I'm going to give everybody credit. You guys picked the ingredients, and then I changed the ingredients because I wanted to drink a banana cocktail. Yeah, it smells good. I'm not getting as much banana as I wanted. All right. Cheers. Bottoms up. Wish me luck. It's fine. I'm not getting a lot of banana. It's there. All right, we need more banana. It needs more banana. There's that. Now we'll see how it is. I don't have anything to stir it with. All of my it's my drink. I can stir with my finger if I want. Julia says start with your knife. If there's some kind of like AI algorithm watching videos, it's probably gonna not like that I'm using weapons to stir drinks. Now I should just throw it and see if I can stick it into the wall. I'm not going to do that. All right. I'm going to step on that in a minute. Watch. All right. See if this is any better. It's fine. There's just not very much banana. I don't know if that's like. I wish I had another little taster glass. Hang on. I don't know if this is even clean. Who cares? We'll see if it's just not very banana-y, or if it's maybe the citrus is just beating the heck out of it. All right, let's see. Nope, that definitely smells like banana. That is a ton of banana. Oh, that's all kinds of delicious. Man, now I know why we have it behind the bar, because it's really good. More banana. We'll get this. I'm going to have diabetes by the end of the episode with how much sugar banana I'm dumping in this thing. My goodness. This is not healthy. It is the brand the bartenders trust, though. Now the knife's been sitting on the carpet. There's probably old, like, stale Cheetos in here now. All right. See if we have any banana yet. God, everything's... Ugh, so gross. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. There it is. That's a Bananarita. It's not that great, but it's not bad. It needs, like, I don't know what it needs. I almost feel like it needs like a spicy component, like banana jalapeno something. I don't know. It's fine. I'm gonna drink it. It's gonna make me feel good. Hi, everybody. All right, now I've got a drink. I do want to talk a little bit about this week's episode of Cincy Brewcast. I don't have a lot of other news stories to cover other than, obviously, the one that we covered on the Brewcast, which is Humble Monk and their forced move out of their current tap room. Oh, yeah, every time I'm burping now, I get that frozen pizza mixed with a margarita mixed with bananas, which is not awesome. Ooh, poblano peppers. Now I might be onto something like a roasty poblano, like a chipotle. We need chipotle peppers. That might be good. Like smoky banana something. Marco mentions that BC is going to open. That's true. That was another blog post this week. They have quoted a day that I didn't want to put into writing because it never works out the way people think it's going to work out. But they did say Father's Day weekend they are planning on opening their doors. They are obviously that is in flux depending on how things work out, but they're pushing really hard to make that happen. But they're brewing. Things are in motion. It's happening. It does exist. So stay tuned for them and for all of the details as they come out on their social media and their website. Julia says a dash of cayenne may do the trick too. Maybe. It's fine. It's fine the way it is. It's not bad. That they're, this is what's fun about making cocktails at home, though. Like you start with this base thing, and then you just kind of keep poking at it and keep tweaking it until you have this thing that you like and that you enjoy. And maybe it takes 6 months of making the cocktail, every week or two before you're happy with it. But you get to make it your thing. But the 3-2-1 method does get you pretty close most of the time to something. It's definitely close to something that's drinkable. Marco's mentioning Oakley Beer Fest in Norwood. I got a lot of thoughts about that I really want to put into writing, I think, or maybe into something. I don't know. There will be an episode of Cincy Brewcast that comes out about Oakley Beer Fest, but It's mostly going to be about my feelings about beer festivals. 50 West not at the beer fest. That happens sometimes. Places just don't show up. Personally, I tend to give distributors more crap for that than I do the actual breweries themselves. I heard, we'll word it this way, I heard that at a beer festival, 50 West came and didn't have enough jockey boxes for their beer, and this was a different beer festival than Oakley Beer Fest. It was, in my opinion, blamed on the distributor. So there's that. It was their place, kind of. Yeah, you still. It was still the distributor that was bringing it to the festival, even if it was their place, kind of, sort of. That's a very complicated story. Which, I mean, why not? Well, we can talk about that. So we can talk. So Oakley Beer Fest was held in Madisonville. Oakley Beer Fest was in Madisonville this year at the Element Eatery, which is it's part of the MedPace development. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's a big kind of commercial development that has a big food hall as part of it, and a hotel and a couple other things. But this big food hall is kind of the part where I pay my most attention to. Inside that food hall is RJ Distillery, which is the it's a local distillery that is owned by some of the people that also own 50 West, is how it was described to me when it all kind of was birthed. I haven't talked to them about it since then, so maybe they have a different opinion about it, but it is a 50 West beer license and a 50 West distilling license that exist. However, the company itself is considered a separate company from 50 West. On top of that, the RJ Distillery is a vendor inside the Element Eatery. So I don't know how all of that breaks down with the beer festival. I don't know the ins and outs of how it all works, but yeah, it was kind of 50 West's place, but kind of not. I don't know if I mean I don't know. I could try to read into my opinions about it. And that's probably not the right thing to do, but there were other breweries and other distilleries there. Maybe they just don't care that much about. I don't know. There's a lot to read into it if you really want to dig into it, but it's never healthy to do that. But Oakley Beer Fest was fun, but it definitely got me thinking about beer festivals. I assume that everybody that is a regular watcher of this show knows that I also help with a beer festival, or have the last 3 years in the fall, called Beer, Booze, and Bonks. And it's been kind of an interesting journey trying to understand how to not only how to throw a good beer festival, but how to make it different and how to make it mean something not only to people that are coming, but to me, to make it make sense to me to spend way too much time on. I spend a lot of time working on this beer festival, and yes, I do get paid to be part of the beer festival, but not an equivalent amount to the time that I'm putting into being a part of the beer festival. So there's a lot of trying to make sure it makes sense to me, and I think that was probably the thing that I was thinking about most. Especially kind of, most of the time that I was at Oakley Beer Fest is just trying to understand why people are at beer festivals, what they want out of a beer festival, what I want out of a beer festival, how you make a beer festival feel good. There's just a lot of thought that that I've been kind of mulling over because of it, which hopefully I'll get into some kind of consumable form for you guys. But if we can shift gears from a future show, which is the Oakland Beer Fest show, which will probably be next week on the Brewcast, I want to talk about this week's episode with Humble Monk, because it's been a really kind of crazy in as far as the public goes, a few weeks once the news kind of got out that they were going to have to leave, and people talking about why and trying to understand why. And I think they did a pretty good job of describing why without throwing anybody kind of under the bus or anything like that. They made it clear that it was not their choice. They wanted to be there. Were under the impression they were going to be able to at least make a go at staying there, and learned pretty quickly that they were so far off that it wasn't going to happen. So now they gotta pack everything up, like literally pack everything up. They gotta pack up a brewery, which is not very easy to do. Disconnect everything, tear it all apart, put it into storage, and they definitely shouted out their friends across the street at Urban Artifact for helping them out with some storage space while they got all their ducks in a row. And then pack it all up and move it to a new spot, which they don't officially know where it is yet. Hopefully, in the next few weeks they will, or be able to talk about where they hope it's going to be. But as of right now, like, it's just kind of up in the air, which is a really terrifying thought to me. Trying to put myself in their shoes, and like, you spend all of this time trying to build some kind of community and a space, and trying to find your role within a neighborhood. I mean, they're across the street from Urban, which in my opinion is one of the premier breweries in the city. You're right across the street from them, and you have to figure out a way to exist within that, to complement what they're doing, and provide this real kind of neighborhood thing. And they've done that amazing, and the beer just gets better and better. And then now they just have to kind of be like, all right, we have to go do this whole thing again, basically. In a lot of ways, they're starting from scratch. Hopefully all of the people that fall in love with them or have fallen in love with them here or there in Northside will go with them wherever that may be. But, it's... if most of their customers are only there because it's close, that's a hard sell. I don't think that that's the case, but I don't know, man. It's wild, and it is something that we haven't really seen a lot of here in the city, if at all. I mean, there's definitely been new tap rooms that have opened. Definitely, the focus has shifted from one more to another. But to have to completely shut down a tap room in a brewery and move it somewhere else is quite the undertaking. It's not impossible, and we recently in a lot of kind of parallel ways saw High Grain do it with their brewery. They Silverton is still open and will still be open. But they packed up the brewery and moved it to Finneytown, and that's a crazy undertaking. And so it can be done, and it can be done well, and you can make it work. Julia points out that Mike and Alicia are the best people. So glad they have such a positive outlook on this new phase of Humble Monk. I drew a lot of parallels in the episode, and I still do in my head, kind of about COVID and how working through that as a brewery kind of shows that you can head into something that maybe you don't want to, that you don't, as you're heading into it, you don't see that other side and see how you're going to be able to make it work. But once you get to that other side, you have that opportunity to see that as a brewery, it does make you better. It makes you stronger. It makes you a better brewery. And I really, really think that, again, drawing the parallels to COVID, much in the same way that, which it still seems absurd to say, but that a lot of breweries came out of COVID probably better than they were going into it, especially from a community perspective or a personality perspective. I think that we're going to see that with Humble Monk coming in and out of this this move. Julia points out that High Grain did it on their own decision and timetable. That is a big difference. I have to sneeze. Ugh. That is a big difference, a big defining difference between the two. It's a lot, and it's a lot to take in within the next month. I know that there is still beer in tanks right now at Humble Monk that they hopefully are timing pretty good to get it out. You also run into this whole thing of once they're out of their tap room, they don't have, as of right now, they don't have distribution. So they have to find a way to get that beer out into people's hands now before they don't have a brewery anymore. And then they've got to figure out a way in that little middle kind of area to still get beer in people's hands and to remind people that they exist and still get some kind of money coming into the business. That scares me to think about. At least with High Grain, there really wasn't. I mean, there was definitely a weird in between point there, and we saw it when Finneytown opened up, when Brentwood opened up, that there were not a ton of beers on tap. You saw that even over in Silverton, there weren't as many beers as you're used to. It got a little light there for a little while. Hopefully, they're building it up at this point, but that's because they moved the whole brewery. There's a little bit of transition period. Humble Monk has got to figure out how to fill something in that transition period, and they pointed out in the episode that they are going to try to find a way to work with some people and make that happen. Obviously, when I assume they're talking about contract brewing. They didn't come right out and say it, but I assume so. They might have actually said it. They might have said somebody else will make our beer. We don't know who, because those things are sometimes a little secretive, but somebody will be making their beer, and you'll have a chance to get a hold of their beer somehow. And not only do I encourage people, very loudly encourage people over the next month to go support them in their current tap room, but in that transition period, for the love of God, if you see their beer somewhere, pick it up and buy it and try it. Their beer is great right now. It is the best that it has ever been. They have, if they still have any of it left, the Helles Lager is incredible, and one of the beers that's in a tank right now is a dark Czech lager that is awesome, like really, really good stuff. I would put it up there with the lagers that anybody in the city is doing. So, get out there and support them. Let's see. Julia says, can a brewery self-distribute cans, not kegs, to other breweries to sell? Or do those guest licenses not cover that kind of thing? And it would only be draft that maybe they could try to do. Hopefully that makes sense. That makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, breweries can self-distribute whatever they want. You can definitely sell cans to a brewery, and then that brewery can sell those cans. That is definitely legal. The only problem that they're going to run into is that once they don't have their brewery anymore, and once they try to start transferring the license to somewhere else, they're not going to be able to sell anything. They have to. That beer is going to have to come from somewhere else, and that process is going to take a while, or at least a little bit of time. So yeah, there's definitely going to be like an overlap where they're not going to be able to sell their own beer. It's going to get a little weird, but hopefully they've timed it all right. They don't, it's not a massive brewery, so they don't have 30 barrels of something that they're sitting on that they have to figure out a way to time so to where they aren't sitting on a bunch of beer. Hopefully they'll get all that just perfect. But again, towards the end, like, they may not have a ton of beer on tap, and I hopefully that people understand why and are a little forgiving about some of that stuff. I assume that most of their customer base is not only on top of kind of this whole story and understanding it, but ready to kind of support in whatever way they can. And if they walk in and there's only a few beers on tap because they're getting ready to head into this transition, they'll be understanding of that, hopefully. Julia says, the address has to be in place before they can sell again, so things have to already be somewhere, shelves or taps, before they officially close the current tap room. Yes, they have to. It's got to be sold. It already has to be gone, and then they have to get that license moved to the new spot, and then they have to start producing in that new spot. So there's going to be a little bit of overlap where they're not going to be able to produce. But I do think they'll be fine. I think they will be way more stressed than they are letting all of us see. But I think they'll be fine. I'm more worried about the people that are in their tap room right now, just supporting them wherever they go. And we don't know where that is. Maybe it's not going to be that far away. I don't know. I know that real estate prices in Northside have skyrocketed since they did open up their space there. So I imagine finding a space in Northside is probably not great. I know that, and I don't know if we talked about this in the episode or not, but the last time I sat down there and had a beer with them and talked to them about it, they were talking about kind of some of the possible plans that they had to try to figure this out. And one of the things that they were toying with was the idea of opening up a production facility in one spot and then opening up a tap room in another spot, just because of the zoning. To open up a brewery and a tap room, it has to be very specific types of zoning, whereas if you open up just a production facility, you can open that in a lot of different places, but then to have a place where people can still also gather, that makes it a little more difficult. And I don't know, man, it's not something that I would ever want to have to worry about and plan. But if anybody can do it, they can. And I do believe that. I'm going to drink more of my Bananarita. Hang on. Yeah, it's really not a bad drink. There's definitely a lot of banana. But they're supposed to be. If you're going to call something a Bananarita, it better have a lot of banana. I am going to start wrapping things up here, unless there's something else you guys think we need to talk about this week. Next week is still kind of up in the air a little bit about when I'm going to do the show or if I do the show because of the holiday. Any long-term viewers / listeners, you guys know that Memorial Day weekend we go camping. Hopefully there'll be some kind of content that comes out of that because I'm going to be drinking heavily all weekend. So hopefully you'll get something. But usually we're rolling back into the house very late sometimes on Monday, especially now this year with the kids. Not, we have actual summer breaks and stuff, so who knows. Bananarita, splash of caramel, salt rim. Yeah, I mean, there's some potential to the cocktail. I'm not done with this. I'm gonna, as soon as we're done with the show, I'm gonna make a couple notes and I'm gonna play with it over the next year or so. I have a whole notebook that sits behind the bar that is all just things I'm playing with, cocktails that I'm not 100% happy with yet. I have lots of notebooks behind the bar. One of them is the kind of in-process notebook of cocktails that I'm playing with. One of them is finished cocktails that I'm happy with it. This is the way I want that cocktail to be, and I write that recipe in there. And then I have another one that's just notes about cocktails. There's a lot of notes that happen in this house, and most of them are about drinking. Now that I think about it, that's strange. Maybe some tahini. Now we're talking. I think that'll completely blow the banana out of it, though. I don't think you'll be able to taste the banana anymore. If it was like a mango Rita, maybe some tahini for that. I'm liking the caramel idea, but the caramel is also so sweet that it might just be too sweet at that point. Maybe if we up the booze, go a little heavier on the tequila. I don't know. There's a lot of fun things you could do. I gotta make 19 different tiny little Bananaritas and figure it out, or look it up and see if somebody else has done a Bananarita. There might be somebody else that has come up with this cocktail and already has all of the work done for me. Speaking of work, I did get the new shelf built in the podcast studio. I don't know. Let me see if I've never tried this. This might work. Let me see if I'm always testing things that I probably shouldn't test. All right, change that to iPhone. Ooh, that's loud. It's loud to me. You guys probably can't hear it. Nope, I'm guessing you guys can't see anything. No, that didn't work. I could find another HDMI cable, but that's an awful lot of work. Or I could just pull the camera off of the tripod. This should... Oh, wait. No, it's telling me something. Oh, it's because it doesn't like... Hang on. I think I know why. It's because I'm using... I have... let's turn that off. I have an iPad hooked up as a separate monitor over there, which is where the chat normally is. So right now I can't see the chat. Just a heads up. But without that turned on, does this work? No, it still doesn't work. This is lame. Maybe if I unplug that. No, it doesn't like that either. All right. Let me get the chat back here. It's not really that important. Anyways, I do have the new... It's not even like just a shelf. It's like a full-on, like, workstation. But maybe one of these days I'll do some kind of wait, we need... I'll put that back. One of these days I'll do a full-on, like, studio tour, basement tour. The basement's making a couple big steps, and you guys will definitely see the results of that in the fairly near future. I'm building a whole new like a whole booth over in the actual like bar section. Let's go down another rabbit hole. Why don't we? When I first converted, let's go back even a little further than that. When we first moved into the house, this was just a storage room. We just dumped a bunch of crap in here. There was where I'm sitting here, like this whole side of the room was a big giant table, like a big giant metal table that the people that had the house before us left here in the house, and I lugged it all the way down here to the basement by myself. That was terrible. Put it in here, and it was just covered in like overflow beer glasses. I just kept them all in this room, and then underneath the table, I just stored a bunch of crap. And then all over here was just a bunch of storage. And then eventually, I decided that I needed to do something with the room. It was ridiculous that I had all just this glassware laying in a room. I got rid of a lot of glassware, still not as much as I need to get rid of, but with the purpose of turning this room into a poker room, because I love playing poker, and I've got a poker table that is not even set up anymore because I don't have space for it. But this was going to be a tiki poker room. Was the whole idea? I was going to turn it into the. Hang with me here. This is the name of the bar that was going to be in this room. It was going to be a little tiki bar. Come on, play a poker lounge. It's the Come on, play a poker lounge. It was great. It was a perfect idea at that time. And so I started putting plans together for that and coming up with the ideas of how I was going to turn this into this really cool, like, tiki poker room. Quickly after that, we had kids. I guess is probably what happened. And I realized that I needed a little more flexibility for podcasts. It is still very difficult sometimes to make the time to get out and record an episode of Cincy Brewcast. So I needed to have that flexibility where if all hell broke loose one week and I needed to fire it up and just do a remote show that had a space that was relatively quiet and ready to go to just hit record and make a podcast. And that was how the Come On and Play a Polka Lounge turned into the podcast studio. And I know Marco was here kind of at that early kind of transition into the podcast studio. And I had actually the same table, I think. I might have changed it a little bit. The same table was here, but it was running this way with the intention of you could have 4-ish people over in this room and record in this room. And there are some episodes that existed like that. The right before COVID, when I had New Ales on the show, we recorded that here in the studio. And I very quickly realized that it's fine in here with 2 people. Any more than 2 people in this room, and it's too much for the room. The room's too small for it. I could really start putting a ton of money into some sound treatment and some different microphones and stuff like that to make it work. But it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to record in here, especially when there's a room right out there that's a huge room that you can space people apart a little better and you can make it sound just fine. So I quickly realized this doesn't need to be a podcast room. But then COVID happened, and so I shifted the table and turned it into this kind of live streaming setup here. After that, I just started adding some other stuff because that was also about the same time that I quit the day job and started my own business. And so I started accumulating more equipment. I had a lot of crap already, but that you guys can't see what this has become over here. There's just so much stuff now, like lights and cameras and little bits and bobs of stuff. So this just quickly became, it's still the studio, but it's more of like a gear locker than anything else. So started shifting my mind back into that space and trying to turn and I say that space like you guys can see where I'm pointing. I mean, you can see where I'm pointing, but you can't tell what I'm pointing at. The main part of the basement is the bar. And I have the bar itself set up, so it's pretty easy to set up and record at the bar. There's lights and stuff, and you can pretty well just throw a camera up there and hit a couple buttons and record. And that's fine. There's no place to sit behind the bar, like on the service side of the bar. You can sit at the bar, but then the camera's behind you. So I've been trying to figure out over the last year or 2 how we make that part of the basement a little more recording friendly. I say all of this with the end goal of telling you that in the far corner of the basement, I'm building this big booth. And I've had this in my head for, again, probably, it might have even been before COVID, but not with the intention of podcasting. Around COVID, I started kind of figuring out that I could build this big kind of giant table in there that you could fit, we could probably get 6 people or so around it if we needed to do a podcast that big, which I'm never going to have 6 people on a podcast in my basement. But if you want to do a podcast of 4 people or something, you can have a table, have people set up, you can have cameras set up, you can have lights set up, have it all kind of pre-wired and ready to go. And just a big kind of wide open table that is comfortable. I say all of that to let you guys know that we didn't really start construction yet, but we did. We were getting all of the supplies together to start working on that table. The heart of the table is 2 big bourbon barrels. That's the bottom of the table, and they're both there. They're both in place now. Measurements have been made. I have to move I have a record collection. All of that is there right now. All of that needs to go move into my office. So that has to happen first. And then we start building the new table and the booth. and it should go pretty quickly, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So that's the long story to tell you that I'm going to have a booth and it's going to be cool, and you will see that probably a lot on YouTube, probably on my channel. I imagine that like I'll still do like short tastings behind the bar, but if I'm really going to dive into something and I want to sit down, I'm probably going to be sitting at that table. I don't really do a lot in here as far as like those shorter videos. I just do this like for the live streaming stuff, just because this is almost like an office at this point. I use it, just when I'm working. But stay tuned for that. It should be fun. The only part of the basement that is there's going to probably be, well, I mean, what are we? We're almost at an hour. We should probably wrap it up. But as far as like the way the basement is set up, you've got this space here, which will always be for live streaming. I shouldn't say always. I may start live streaming out there more, just because of cocktails, and there's now bottles all over the floor, and there's a knife somewhere down there that I don't know where it is. Spent pieces of lime and all kinds of crap all over the floor. So I'm going to come down tomorrow, start packing up my stuff for work tomorrow, and I'm going to step in lime juice. And so maybe I'll start streaming out there more, but we'll see. But you've got this space here that is set up for streaming. You have the bar itself is a setup for doing some kind of content. You'll have the booth that I was talking about, the table with the bourbon barrels. I should come up with some kind of fun name for that area. You'll have that. I have a full stage in the other corner over here, where we play music. That may turn into some kind of set if I'm doing like just like a one-on-one interview or something, because there's like curtains and stuff. It looks nice. And I've been working on the stage too, and I have to do a tour at some point so you guys can see some of the little things that I'm working on. So you'll have the stage kind of set, and then right now there's a couch, like a futon. It is a futon. It was in my apartment when I was single, and it is sitting in the middle of the basement. That will eventually go away, and I'll get a couple chairs there, and maybe a little fireplace or something in between them, and that'll be its own little set there. So you'll have several different kind of personalities to different spaces within the basement for different content, and yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's just work. Just have to find time to do it, which time is one of those things that is a luxury that we don't always have. Anyways, we'll wrap things up since we are approaching an hour, and yeah, it's going to be a long week this week. Tomorrow, for anybody that is not aware, it's Kolsch Night down at Northern Row. If you haven't been to Kolsch Night, come to Kolsch Night. I'm planning on being there. I assume that Marco and Julia are planning on being there too. If not, that's fine. I'll be there, and we can hang out, and we can drink a bunch of Kolsch together, and eat a free snack. We don't know what the snack is, but they have plans on giving free snacks every single week now, and that is a good move for Kolsch Night. So if anybody is free, come to Kolsch Night, and we'll see you. And stay tuned for next week's episode of Cincy Brewcast, where we will we'll dive into beer festivals and how they make me feel. Next week, you'll hear about my feelings. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate you hanging out. I didn't get to drink very much of my Bananarita. Here, we'll do a couple more sips just so we can rack the sip count up a little bit. Ooh. That is pretty good. Yep. All right. Cheers, everybody. And we'll see you next week. If you like this show, if you like any of the stuff that I do, you know how to support it at this point, right? You go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, and you can support that way. And if you do that, if you become a Gnomie, not only do you sometimes, hopefully more often going forward, get the episodes of Cincy Brewcast and Drinking with a Gnome early, when I get them done early. You also get first dibs at all of the upcoming swag from the new, hopefully soon to launch, Gnome Shop, which is in progress. Again, I spend sometimes a whole weekend working on booths in the corner of the basement and don't get to work on things like the Gnome Shop. But it is coming, and Gnomies get first crack at that. They'll get just boxes of crap delivered to their door. Fun things that say fun things and have fun ideas. I can give a little sneak peek. No, I can't. I don't know where it is. Part of the putting this new shelf in, the old shelf is not the old. It's still a shelf. It still is in use, but there's a bunch of stuff on that shelf that's not supposed to be. Some of the new swag ideas are over there, and I don't know where they are right now. But it has to do with, well, I don't know which one to launch first. One of the upcoming swag drops, I guess, is just called the Gnarly series, which some of you guys have seen some of that stuff. Josh just mentioned the Gnome Bomber Jacket. It is a gnarly bomber jacket. That is part of the Gnarly series, sort of. It's going to be very similar to that. You get a lot of things that just say gnarly, and something that I've been wanting to do for a while. That'll probably be the first thing to drop is the Gnarly series. And then the next thing is the Dive series, which I have some fun stuff planned for that. So stay tuned, and thank you guys. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me and being part of this weird experiment of a show that is not really a show because I have a lot of fun doing this. I recognize Monday nights are not the best for everybody. It's not always easy to sit down and listen to somebody do a live show. So I appreciate you hanging out with me, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody. Go make yourself a Bananarita. Cheers. We'll see you next week. So good. Do you think that if I went to Northern Row, not tomorrow on Kolsch night, of course, but if I went to Northern Row and I said, I really need a Bananarita, do you think they could do it for me? Although, Tuesday after, like at 4 p.m., Molly Wellman is at Arnold's to do her cocktail series. Molly Wellman could make me a Bananarita. Gonna get another Bananarita tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.